Hello there, YouTube. So this is my new backdrop. I don't know how long it's going to be my new backdrop, but until that thing is back into that car that's sitting right next to me, that's probably going to be the backdrop. I wanted to talk about after the engine pull, because even during the engine pull there were some things that I discovered. For example, if you guys remember that little that's on the throttle linkage on the firewall. I think I've got a little shot of the video from previous. It was stuck, but then when I went over there and just took a pick to it, it just popped right out. So it's exactly what you figured it would be. Okay. Another thing in the video that we talked about was this shock absorber and motor mount. So this is this little shock that they have, and then this is that rubber piece that I talked about that was still stuck and left onto the car. So it just came right off. There's nothing that goes in between. This is how it goes together. Obviously this should all be replaced, but that's basically how it just fits right there. Okay. All right, so I covered those two things. Also, you know, during the removal, I noticed that I have some very brittle wires. So we're going to rewire that, relume it, I guess is what they call it. But I have to figure that out. I've never done any of that before either. Everything that I'm going to be doing probably from here on out I've never done before. But that wiring harness should be repaired or just rebuilt. So that's something I'm going to put on I guess we'll be making videos of all that. You know, how we're going to get our wires to look the same as they did originally and all that kind of stuff, and maybe improve on it. But don't take away from the integrity of things, you know. I don't want to hot rod it up. I just want to keep things as they were, so when you open it up you say, okay, that's a Mercedes. Alright? That's all I want to do. I had a couple of other issues after the fact. So the 2-ton hoist and the 2-ton engine stand from Harbor Freight are not really compatible. It's a little difficult to transfer from the hoist to stand. With the leveler, it really helped. I figured it out. If you guys really want me to do something on that, I can actually create a video for that. Because I've seen other people, I don't know, man, they built ramps and blocks and used jacks and all kinds of stuff to achieve this. And I'm seeing some of the people are, well, you can see the fails. Plenty of engines on the ground. So I didn't do it that way. Mine went very smoothly. Nothing tipped, nothing over, nothing slanted. But it was pretty easy. However, the Harbor Freight engine stand does not mount to this engine block, I'm telling you. You can mount it to the block if you want to mount it to the pan. Right? Because your pan is all part of the whole transmission mount. That is your mount. So you could do that, but if you want to change your pan, you're not going to mount it on that way, right? So you need to mount it on the back of just the case. So I had to modify the, I don't know what you call them, but the adjustment rods. I drilled another hole that's a little shorter, so that way there I could actually position it. And I also felt that this was not centered if you were to put your, you know, your alignment right along your crank. A lot of times that would be kind of where you would put it, but I found when I first did it that way and I took it off and put it on the stand, man, once I got a little bit here, it was almost impossible to blow it over. It just felt really top heavy. So I adjusted it more, and then you'll see in the picture here the difference between where the crank is and where I ended up. I still have adjustment. I can go up a little bit more. I can go back down a little bit, not all the way. to where the crank is, and I don't think you could even do that. I don't think this engine would balance, you know. I still feel it's about 10% to 15% maybe heavier on top. So once you remove the heads, if you were going to do that, it would probably be fairly balanced, maybe a little bottom heavy at that point, but I'd rather have it bottom heavy than top heavy. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'd rather have it bottom heavy than top heavy. I didn't grease the shaft. That's something I should have done, probably, is grease that spindle. I may go ahead and just jack it up to grease it to do that. So, also, while putting on that mount for the engine stand, I found that I was unable to put in one of the bolts onto the case. I think this was over-torqued, cross-threaded, or whatever, because all I did was just remove the bolt, right? And I had a lot of difficulty with those top bolts. So I don't know if that's what they did, but somebody has removed this engine before. We know that. The pan has been done. The back plate has been resealed and not resealed properly. So we're doing all that as well. Because of those threads that now are breached. Matter of fact, I did get a bolt in it. When I took the bolt out, it was full of thread, or full of aluminum. So I know that thread's shot. I can't even get a bolt really in it right now. I just can't even get it in. So we're going to be doing helicoil. Oh yeah, everything that I touch on this car, the next thing's going to happen. So if you guys just stay on this journey with me, you're going to see probably a complete car rebuild from the ground up. I know I've already done the suspension. You know, I rebuilt the rear axle, took apart the inside gears. I did all that and repacked it. Let me tell you, this is probably the most industrialized rear end I've ever seen on a vehicle. I'm telling you. That thing is marine grade. It's heavy, heavy duty and packed with grease. Anyways, yeah, so we're going to be rewiring it. We're going to be helicoiling it. We're going to be changing the pan. We're going to be changing the back cover plate, the rear seal. Right now, I don't see any other leaks. I don't see that there's a front seal leak, but I don't know. You know, do I do it? Geez, the engine's out. Should I do it? You know, or the engine's out. I'll tell you what. I'm going to open this up for comments. What should I do to this? Now, I'm not real happy to get started on this. Okay, I got other things I can do. I want to put in the gearbox, right? The steering gearbox. Right now, the whole bay is completely open. I can give you a bird's eye view of that gearbox. The installation of that and how you center it and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking that's probably going to be one of my next ones. I also have a hood. I want to put the hood pad and also that insulation pad that goes towards the bottom there. We're going to be doing that. The hood's off. This is the time to do it. It's not needed right now, but these are some things that I can do in the meantime, because I'd like to hear your thoughts. You know, what would you do? What would you do once this it has 139,000 miles on it. All right? I've already done the chain and guides, so that's done. Okay? We're going to be doing the pan, we're going to be doing the rear seal and rear cover. What else would you do? Right? Would you just go ahead and just go after it and reseal the whole thing? Would you pull those heads off? Would you look in those cylinders? I have an endoscope. I could probably scope it. Right? So, you know, there's guys out there that know a lot more than I do. This is the first time I've ever even took out an engine. You know? Do I risk it and just kind of clean up what I know? What I see? What a guy who doesn't know what he's doing sees? Or maybe you guys are seeing some things that I haven't seen yet. Okay? So, I just thought that, you know, we should do that. We also got a radiator installed. Of course, we're not going to install that radiator. That is the last thing we're going to do. This is going in with the transmission. It's in California. You know, I got to contact them. You know, I haven't heard a word. They've had it for a month. And I have not heard a word from them. So, you know, I don't really want to like push them because I'm certainly not ready for them. I don't know. This might be until spring before we're done, right? We got a whole car to rebuild. You guys with me? Oh. Gosh, I have new subscribers. I think I have 18 subscribers. I want to thank you guys for subscribing. I mean, you're kind of giving me a little influence because I was ready to give up again. I quit on this car in 2008, man. I'm almost ready to quit on it again because this is what's happening. Everything I touch just gets goo-doo-doo-doo-doo. That's why I created the rabbit hole. That's why I created the rabbit hole. Plenty of work to do. I'm going to be making videos and making videos and making videos. I don't know the time that's between them, but I'm not going to give up on you. I think I could use a lot more subscribers. It'd be really cool if I get 100 subscribers, then I can get my own name, right? That's the stuff we're going to do. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it.